Hello, everybody. Well, it's just me right now, it looks like at least. I know that there's a bit of a delay. Let me see here. Uh, just getting everything together and ready. Just waiting while everybody's in here. I've had a very busy morning and a busier week. It's kind of funny. We were watching, my son and I, we were watching Breakfast with Brian, as we always do every Saturday before we start. And my wife is out running some errands today, so it's just me for now. But I have a solution to that too. We'll get into in a moment. And I put him down at about 10:20. I'm gonna say, and he usually falls asleep pretty quickly. But he was just kicking around and giggling and making little baby Grogu noises enough where I was like, this kid's just not gonna go to sleep. So I was getting ready to actually set up his kind of little chair off to the side like I typically do when when he's awake, and he wound up falling asleep like in the last 5 minutes, literally. So it'll be me solo today, kind of, sort of. Hello again, Brian. Great show today, by the way. I had to run a little bit back and forth, um, just getting the little guy situated. But so there are a lot of parts I missed. I have to watch on the replay. I didn't even finish my breakfast yet, right there. And I'm interested in, by the way, I will be taking the breakfast pictures. Hey, Trev. Hey, Main Event. Congratulations again on your win. I am going to do my breakfast pictures, but my breakfast during the week is usually a little less than amazing. It's usually like I have to run and go downstairs. I'm using the coffee cup, the awesome coffee cup, I should say, as my jersey comes out. Coffee that the Blasters gifted me, and I will show it to you in full. But I made the mistake of filling it up all the way. I had a little trouble sleeping last night, so I was very groggy this morning. So as the show progresses and we get more to a level where I know I'm not going to spill it and burn myself, you'll see it because it is very cool. I actually have to apologize too. I have not. I realized this morning I have not sent out my giveaways for the past 2 weeks, so I'm going to remedy all of that on Friday. So I'll be sending out my last couple giveaways, which I haven't even announced the winners yet. So I hope people aren't waiting. Thank you, Trev. This is actually a birthday gift from my wife. My birthday's in May. I've had it on a couple times, but yeah, I like it. She has good taste all around. So I was just saying, oh yeah, so what I'll do is I'm going to send out the last 2 weeks giveaway and then this giveaway all on Friday. No work this Friday. We have a company-wide mental health day, which, to be honest with you, I know I've been saying this the last couple of weeks, but we've been all just working to the bone and looking forward just to like a free day off. I actually have some PTO I have to take, so I'm probably going to try to take a couple weeks in October, maybe one in November, maybe one in December, but we'll see. So before I show off what I read this week, why don't we just talk about the topic I picked for this video? And that was just a brief discussion on She-Hulk. Hey, Master and Madam, I was just talking about you like 5 minutes ago. Master and Madam, by the way, I am almost done putting together a little something for you. I will give you a heads up when it is en route. En route or en route? I think it's the same thing. When it's on its way, why don't we say that? Yes, I'm going to show off the mug more when when I've drank enough coffee where I'm confident I'm not going to spill and burn myself. I was just saying I had a very long night, which was on top of a long week. So I filled this thing to the brim this morning, which is typically more than I drink, but that'll be to your benefit. Oops, see? Almost got me. So yeah, anyway, I made kind of an observation while watching this week's She-Hulk that I wanted to share. And this might be kind of a no-brainer. We both enjoyed the episode immensely, I have to tell you. I'm not going to give away any spoilers. I was just going to say, you know, a cameo if you haven't watched it yet, which is not a huge secret, but I just don't want to be that guy. So I won't tell you that, but I did enjoy that part a lot, and I had to actually scan the QR code and explain to my wife who the character was, and she tolerated that. She was like, I didn't have to see that to enjoy the show. I was like, yeah, well, just a nice little Easter egg. But my personal experience with She-Hulk as a character, um, I jumped on her series during the Dan Slott run. I pretty much have, I think, all but maybe 3 or 4 issues, and they're all like within the first 10. And it's not something I actively hunt, especially right now. It's it was a great series. I thought it was very kind of, I don't want to say it was funny, but it had a great vibe to it. Um, it's hard to write comedy, from what I understand. It's harder to write something that's funny rather than just something dramatic. And I'll get to that in a little bit too, because I did read what I think is supposed to be a funny book this week, but you'll be the judge. But one thing I kind of really appreciated, I had read a couple pieces of the John Byrne run. I had read, I think, did Peter David do it at one point? Like, I know that he did it after Slott's run, and I have that whole run. That one was not my favorite, I'll be honest with you. But I don't know if he did it before then too. But my whole point was, and I read the run, I'm reading the current run, and I read the run before that one, the post-Civil War II. And, during the post-Civil War II run, I was kind of like shocked by the amount of, I don't want to say hate, but like discontent people had with the series. And I kind of just wrote it off as, well, look, Civil War II was not a popular series, and there's a reason for that. It just wasn't a good story, and I don't know that it would have been any better or any worse had they just called it something else. But that's another discussion. If you're unfamiliar with the run, and I can't, unfortunately, I can't remember the writer's name. I do know that she recently wrote a couple issues of Detective, I think a run on Detective Comics. It was a different type of story. You had if you're unfamiliar, in the very beginning of Civil War II, She-Hulk was injured very, very badly, almost mortally, and War Machine was killed. And She-Hulk, for the most part, was on the sidelines of Civil War II, recovering for the rest of the series, which was the bulk of the story. When she kind of came to, she was traumatized, and she was just Jennifer. She didn't want to go back into She-Hulk mode. So this story was post that, and this series rather was post that. And for the first, I'm going to say maybe 3 to 4 issues, she didn't turn into She-Hulk at all. In fact, she tried to avoid turning into She-Hulk as much as she could. It was about trauma, and I thought it was really well done. But now in retrospect, watching the She-Hulk series and having read what I read in the Dan Slott series, I kind of understand it more, because now I kind of felt like it was a little maybe disingenuous towards the character. I am considering giving that run another read just to see that. No problem, Zach. You gotta eat, dude. I stopped my breakfast too. I was saying I might give the run another read. I know that it certainly wasn't the best run, nor was it the worst, but the artwork, I remember, was pretty mediocre at times. So maybe I'll be doing that. I know there's 3 episodes of She-Hulk left, so maybe I'll do a nice little comparison. But by contrast, I love Dan Slott's run. I didn't care for Peter David's run, where she basically wasn't a lawyer. She was a skip tracer. Yeah, it just didn't kind of hit on the same levels of me. So, I mean, share with me. What have you guys been watching She-Hulk? If so, did you read the series before then? And what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I'll say this, and I don't know if it's just social media being social media, but I don't understand a lot of the hate towards the show. I like it. I think it's really enjoyable. I think it's light. Sometimes it feels a little short. And it gives you a cohesive story throughout the series, but it doesn't go so deep into it. I've noticed that the Marvel shows that we prefer watching, and we've watched all of them. I've enjoyed all of them. My wife did not like Loki, and she did not like Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I can understand. I mean, Loki was pretty dense, and I had to watch that finale a couple times. And I don't know if it's that I just work so hard or just I sit on the couch and start getting comfortable. I just like passed out during some of those episodes. No problem, Durs. Durs, by the way, I know that he's been hunting comics lately. I think last week you told me you went to a flea market. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm still interested in seeing that haul. I've been way behind on my YouTube this week. But if you haven't done that yet, I'm really do want to see that haul. Let me just put Durs up on the screen. I think everybody here knows him, but just in case, if you haven't, just go ahead and check out his channel, and you're in for a treat. He gets some really nice stuff, some stuff that's really kind of taken me back, I think, from when I started collecting. Speaking of collecting, why don't I show off? Let me see. This is what I'll do. So I didn't go to the store this week. Oh, it is up. Okay. Yeah, I have to watch it. Again, crazy times at work. So I am way behind on almost everybody. Batman Day video reference. Maybe I did see that one. I don't know. So what I'll do is, because I have 2 boxes to unbox. Oh, here we go. Main event. David always has great comments. Except for the new run, I've never read She-Hulk before. Between the show, some issues of the current FF run, and the new She-Hulk run, she's become a favorite character. Yeah, she's good. I highly recommend the Dan Slott run, and I feel like the show has that same vibe, although it's not really lifting all the exact stories from it. None of them, to be honest with you, from what I could think of. I should add, I did read Charles Soule's run, and I was a little, just me personally, hey, Chop, I was a little disappointed by it. Charles Soule, great writer, one of my favorite writers. He is an attorney by trade, not just a comic book writer. And I felt like that show was kind of missing, his run was kind of missing that edge. And I remember not liking the artwork at all in that. Hey, Psych. I've not read anything since the 80s when she joined the FF. Psychedelic. Yeah, she's a great character, and it's kind of one of the things I appreciate about this series is that I feel like there's a bunch of people who are now either discovering or rediscovering the character. Because if you don't know comics, or I should say this, if all you know of comics is the MCU, why don't we say that? You hear She-Hulk, and you don't get the best impression. You don't get, I shouldn't say the best, you don't get the truest impression. In my experience, people think, oh, this is just a lady Hulk. And it's like, no, she's different than that. And that's what makes her so great. She's fun. Okay, I think we're at a safe point in my coffee cup, so I get to show off. Again, this is actually live in action. The mug that the Blasters were nice enough to send me, and it's a recreation. You can see that it's going down already, of the cover of X-Men #1. Really, really, really cool. Yes, like I agree that they are short, but I feel like it works better in this sense. Yeah, Durs, it's awesome. And I once again I thank the Blasters. Again, I think everybody here knows the Blasters by now. Cool people. One of my favorite YouTube channels to sit down and watch. My wife loves watching it too. And yeah, hopefully I'm putting together very slowly an A-OK to send them. But why don't we do this? Since I have 2 unboxings, and those are my only new comics for the week, I'm going to unbox one, show you what I read, and then unbox another. Sound good? Okay, good. So the first thing is my Swolder Supply box for this month. And let's see. First off, all these little mounting things. I actually have all of the copies of Isolation I've purchased, or almost all, kind of just on these hooks here. I've kind of run out of space as far as display goes, and I have not put anything on a wall or anything like that. I just don't like the idea of my comics being out and being affected by light and whatnot. And oh, you didn't get a good one, Trev? Well, I'll see. Let me see what I have. Yeah, we're not in our forever house. This is a house that's good for now. See Daredevil in the final episode. Yeah, that would be cool if they watched the DD movie. I don't know if that would work though. I haven't, the hooks themselves, I haven't displayed them. Again, we're not in our forever house, so I don't want to switch out the lights for the LED setups or anything like that. Oh, I didn't realize that's the last one he's doing, Trev. Okay, I might have missed that detail. Okay. I can say this too, by the way, Durs. I don't know if your girlfriend likes to collect a lot of stuff. My wife has kind of bogarted a couple of these from me before I got to actually even open them up, and she's used them to display. I think she's got like one of her grandmother's plates in our china cabinet. I think it was for Christmas one year, when I proposed while we were down in Wildwood, which is, it's a beach destination if you're unfamiliar. And that year, or that following year, they just so happened to be redoing the boardwalk. So they chopped up pieces of the boardwalk into little squares. I would get it, but it's on the other side of the room, and she doesn't like when I touch stuff and rearrange it. So they were like taking pieces of the boardwalk and just branding them as like an official piece of the boardwalk. So she's got that displayed on there too. The comedy show was expecting. I like that, especially the Immortal guy. Yeah, I was trying to hide that one. That's cool. Well, yeah, he's from Great Lakes Avengers, which I kind of like the fact that he was a jerk on the show, and I don't remember him being like that in the actual series. And I do have a couple of Great Lakes Avengers series. I think the only thing I don't have is their first appearance. Well, go figure. And the Soldier Supply box, which Trev says is the last one. I haven't seen that yet. I have to look, but I believe him. These clear bags and boards, which I have some of my nicer or older books displayed in, and my copies of Isolation. I have a lot of these left too. I'll put this over here for now. And I mean, let's get to the books, because come on, that's kind of the money here. There is the Gibbon Spit hot sauce. I'm not a big hot sauce guy, to be honest with you. I was gonna have, let me see here. I was gonna have my sister. She was up from Florida visiting. I didn't get a chance to actually see her. She goes back and forth for work a lot, and she's more into hot sauce. I was gonna have her try it and give me an impression. I like hot things. It's just, I don't know. As you get older, you can't eat so many of those things, I guess. Father Time is a bastard. Chug it for the views. Yeah. Great. Nobody's here. So if I've got to go to the ER, or at the very least, if I've got to run to the bathroom, that's it. It's just me. The 6-month-old is not going to be able to do anything. Yeah, Durs, if you could get these, it says at collectormount.com, and I'll have you and here's the thing too, like when they said the name of it is Gibbon Spit, I was, look, I know it's not actually monkey spit, but I was like, I don't know. It makes me feel a little bit of a way here. And this is cool. He's got another Gibbon Gang pin in it here too. I didn't expect that. I don't know if he announced that was in there. Another small Soldier sticker. I think I have a few of these right now. This one might be smaller than the one I have. I have to figure out a nice way to display some of the stickers and tchotchkes I get from YouTubers and from shops and stuff. I think, Durs, am I wrong? Do you have them on display? I'm trying to remember where I saw it. I don't know. But anyway, here's the books. So it feels like there are, and it looks like there are 3 books in here. Let's see what they are. Number 1, Ghost Rider number 15. This is from the 90s series. This is the glow-in-the-dark cover, I believe. Let me see. I don't know if it is, actually. It feels like it is through the bag, but I have to double check. But Mark Teixeira artwork, not the Yankee. Actually, at the time, he was one of the huge artists in Marvel books in the 90s. He actually was the artist for my first run of my first kind of regular read of Wolverine. Next, this is cool. There's actually a couple things in here. I'm going to come back to this one last. He has his Black Adam print. Cool work. Is this by Nate made it, I think? I don't know. It doesn't actually say the name on it. I was hoping to do some more prints for Reggie. If this is the last box, I'll have to think of something else, I guess. This is one I'm not familiar with, but I'll check out. It's for mature audiences only, from Fred Funny's Uncanny. So I always like looking at indie books. I'll put that aside. And this was the last thing. And this is kind of cool. I need a filled print. I don't know if Reggie has any more of them left, but I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out a way to get something to you, Trev. So this is a Kickstarter of a trade paperback Duplicant, and I don't know too much about this. I know that I've heard Reggie talk about it a couple times. There's some other things in here with it. So let's see. And these are these kind of little promotional tchotchkes I was talking about. I need to figure out a way to put them aside or display them. Anytime if you've read them, if you've been to the shops, I should say, within the last 20 years or so, Marvel used to put out a lot of things, and DC too, like little mini posters or calendars or these little kind of cards picking their events. I saved all of those. So that's what I'm talking about as far as display goes. So this one is just like a, what do you call it? Bookmark. I can't think today. Here's a little card. We give you your life back. And then the back of it says, who owns your organs? Yeah. I'll check that out. I'm not a big Star Trek guy, and this just kind of hit me. One of my friends growing up was huge into Star Trek: The Next Generation, and the tattoos on that woman kind of remind me of one of the characters on that show. Okay, another kind of print. I guess who owns your organs is their byline. These are cool, kind of good quality. She looks upset. This is this would be funny. This is coming home on New Comic Book Day. Honey, I just bought a bunch of new comics. I'm just joking. My wife's not like that. Okay, so that was my Soldier Supply box. That's part one of the new pickups. That's a fantastic display case behind you. I'm sure wouldn't mind. Oh, that one? Yeah. No. We don't touch those. You have to understand. My wife is very sentimental. So that whole case, which was my grandmother's at one point, by the way, that has items from our wedding in it. Everything from the like just some general pictures. I think some stuff from our honeymoon, like we went to Aruba, so we had some of the Aruban change or coins, currency. I don't remember what it's called. And I think she has like her eyelashes that she used in there. So yeah, I don't touch that display case because I don't want to wake the bear. There's no reason to touch it. I don't want to get her upset. So that's her area. I need that today so badly. Okay, so let me go through briefly what I read. Let's see. And I think I actually put them in here backwards. This was like a mixed bag, like a mixed kind of read this week. Hold on, I'm trying to put them in some order here. You could file that under stuff I probably should have done before we jumped on, but oh well. So I did finish the Batman and Catwoman series. Here's the Jim Lee cover of issue 9. Jim Lee of issue 10. Jim Lee of issue 11. And surprisingly, this doesn't look like a Jim Lee cover to me, to be honest with you, with Batman in a shadow like that. And I know I'm getting a lot of glare, but it kind of looks a little bit more reminiscent of like a Greg Capullo to me. See, kind of like that. I don't know. I can't remember an exact Jim Lee book where he obscured the character like that. And then the finale, I just went with the straight up cover A, the Clay Mann cover, and I really, really like this one. And I also, by the way, include in that the holiday special. So I read the special, I think, right before I read issue 12. So I'm going to try to treat them separately. The special, I'm going to say, I know that last week I said Catwoman is one of those characters that we haven't really seen that quintessential story for. This is it. This is the quintessential Catwoman story. Yeah, main event. I think you made that comment too, and I agree with you wholeheartedly on this. Such a great story. I don't know that you need to read the rest of the series to read this one. But whether you've read the other series, the 12-issue series or not, I recommend you pick this up. Very, very good. Best Catwoman story I've read, hands down. I'm still reading the Cliff Chang, was that Lonely City one? I think we're still waiting for that last issue to come out. If not, my LCS missed it on me. Hey, Surfer. As far as the rest of this series, I thought the story was good, not great. I know that Tom King does that time shift, and some people have a problem with it. It does make you have to sit and actively pay attention. One thing I'm kind of glad that they resolved. I did not understand initially why Phantasm, who appears in this, kind of seemingly abandoned her mission midway through, and I like that they kind of solved that. The execution felt a little clunky to that end of it, but issue 12 wrapped up nicely. And I'm gonna warn you, if you have not read this story yet, and you're like, oh, I really like Batman, I'm gonna read this. Yeah, Batman's in it, but I would not have called this Batman and Catwoman. I would have called it Catwoman and Batman, because it's very much her story, and she does it really, really well. So I recommend that highly. Okay, next. This is something I was picking up. I don't remember the name of the book, but I haven't read it yet, so maybe you'll see it next week. And we all have our little idiosyncrasies that we like to do when we read. I like to read all my Marvel books first, then I try to pick out similarities or kind of similar stories and kind of transition into DC books and then independent, and then I'll do the opposite the next read. It's just something I've been doing for a couple of years, and it's helped when you have books that are a little bit more cohesive, like during X of Swords or in the early days of the Krakoan X-Men, you had to do it that way or else you're reading stuff out of order. I needed a break from some Marvel stuff this week. That's why I jumped right into Batman and Catwoman. I wanted to finish that series. And then I said, let me try some of the independent titles I haven't read yet that are packing up a little bit. So this was a book that my LCS owner, Sean, who, if you saw last Monday, he was my second guest on 7 Minute Stories. And if you haven't seen that, you can go back. I have a recording of it up on the site. And I'm actually going to break it up into smaller pieces too, just kind of little bite-sized pieces. He recommended this title to me, Miss Meow. And I kind of don't know how we got into this discussion. I think because he saw me going into some more indie stuff. maybe just a kind of commented because I do like the layout of the cover. It kind of looks like something you'd see from a magazine. And this is from a company, Merck Publishing, by the way, whom I'm not really familiar with. And hey, E-Man, you know what? I've got my phone here. I had to kind of go closer to see it. Um, yeah, the art is good on the cover, and it does. I'm glad that you said that. She's not here right now. Videos of Sean showing you're off the LCS. Oh, here's the one I wanted to show. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you said it's reminiscent of the '90s image stuff because I'm going to show you a couple things from Merck Publishing. This is precisely like the feeling I got. Like this is like reading a one of those Rob Liefeld books he had, like Bloodshot or Brigade, but more cohesive, and there's a definite story in there where I still don't understand Bloodshot and Brigade years later. Again, I wasn't really familiar with this character. It's not my favorite. It's just okay. Like you're getting what you get. They try to do some kind of like fake kind of funny heads in there. Some of them hit, some of them not so much. The main story itself kind of just seems like a basic story to me. Yeah, C-list, and that's the that's the main thing. Yes, like my allergies are killing me too. I woke up in the middle of the night with it. Yeah, and it's very over the top, and I mean, look, it's very kind of cheesecakey. I have the first 2 issues here. So, I mean, if you're into that, try it. I thought it was just okay, and it's probably not something I'm going to pick up again. You know, sometimes I'll pick up a limited series, and if I'm a couple issues into it and not liking it, I'll say, well, look, let me just finish the series. I don't know if this is a limited series, but I don't know. It's not drawing me in. But again, just my opinion. So you have to try new things every now and then. And then from also from Merck Publishing, this one I liked a little bit more. You have Death Rage. I have the first 2 issues of that. This one is the Tyler Kirkham cover. And again, I liked the magazine type of layout of the cover here. It kind of reminds me, it goes a little bit, story-wise, I think it's a little bit better than Miss Meow. The character himself kind of reminds me if you had Deadpool, but not from the comics, from the films, and you mixed him a little bit with Spawn. It's the kind of feel you get here. You get a little bit more background into some of these other characters in this, and the artwork again is pretty good. There's nothing. Let me look before I say this. I'll say that there's very minor cheesecakiness in it. The second issue is right here. Kind of more of that same kind of, again, just like C-list E-Man is saying, over the top action. Yeah, this one is more cheesecakey, I have to say. There's a little bit of a Halo ripoff in there, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not going to try to spoil anything for you, but like the main fight in it does feel like something that I would read in a Deadpool series or something like that. Maybe like I'm talking like early '90s, first ongoing Deadpool. Okay, and then New Think, and this is from AWA. AWA, I didn't realize it. I'm really liking a lot of stuff that they've been doing. I've been only reading AWA stuff for the past year or so. I think when Fight Girls started is when I started picking them up, but I'm really liking a lot of their material. So this was the New Think, and I'll be honest with you, I liked the first issue of the New Think. Second one was okay. This one was just downright depressing. This is one of those instances where it's a limited series that I am going to finish. I think there's 2 more issues left. The artwork in this, by the way, and Blasters, if you're still here, I think you'd like this. Artwork is amazing. And yeah, the cover is really cool, Surfer. The story itself, and look, I understand these are like these stories are all circulate around um, how I don't want to say destructive, but how I'll say how much social media and technology interfere in our life. And this one is just kind of like depressing. Like I had to read. I think I read Miss Meow after that just to kind of give me like a little pick me up. You know, like I said, there's two more issues of that series. I am going to check that out. Artwork is great. Story, that is a large comic. I think it's a normal size. The paper quality, I could tell you, is a lot better than Marvel or DC. Maybe that's why it might look a little bit bigger, but yeah, I mean they're not numbered. It's just yeah, no, it's just I think a regular size comic. And also from AWA. These are the last two, I should say, of the new things I read. Um, ETER. This actually came out, I think, about a year ago, and I had seen it. Yeah, October actually. Oh no, that is a year ago at this point. Yeah, geez, we're at the end of September. Um, oh no, sir, first school. Um, yeah, I mean, I had seen it sitting on the shelf at my LCS, and I was like, that's kind of interesting because I hadn't heard anything, but you hear the title ETER, and I'm thinking, oh wow, that could be that might be something cool. It's an anthology book um, that well, here's the thing about it. Like my whole thought was, I thought it was going to be all about an alien ER, and it kind of is that. I like the first story kind of has it where there's a special emergency room underneath your the regular emergency room where they handle extraterrestrial beings and everything. And the artwork on it is very simplistic, but it works for that story. Um, First story, I started out not liking, I wound up really enjoying. I was a little surprised because I figured maybe they would kind of, at the very least, stay within the same location, but they try to keep with the same theme. Um, the next one, and I think the story is written by the second one is written by Dan Panosian. Um, is kind of like um, what is it? If you watched when you were a kid that Disney movie was it Inner Space? Kind of like that. And I mean we've kind of seen that story before. Um, this is kind of more of like a Doom approach for it. You know, if you've played that game, you know, a guy kind of is going inside the body to fight the bacteria and antibody, and it was just okay. You know, again, it's not meant to be something continuing. At least it was clear at that point. Um, the second issue, and I think this one was supposed to be funnier, but the first one was a little bit funny at the beginning, but that's why I was talking about at the beginning that it is harder to write comedy, at least on purpose. Um, this one, they kind of took that interpretation of ETER differently. That is some wild artwork. However, the only modern comic that I was considering to read is The Department of Truth. Yeah, I haven't read Department of Truth. I'm that one guy who hasn't read it yet. So this is three more stories about the alien experience, I guess you could say. And I think this is a cover B. This came out, I want to say maybe 2 months ago. And the first story was kind of different. It kind of reminded me of if you remember that story of that movie, rather, Starship Troopers. Kind of like that, but there was um, more of a different twist to it. Um, to me, and I kind of question just the way that it kind of unfolds and executes. If it's supposed to be, um, if it's really supposed to be about the pandemic, I haven't read Department of Truth now. Yeah, no, it might be one of those things, man, that I check out in like in trade. I'm just reading too much at this time, but I've cut back a lot. So I don't know. Maybe if I either read it in trade or if it's at the library, I have to check if my library's on. What's that app people were talking about? I know that. Um, what's the guy's name? I know that Cole was talking about it. I think it's called Hoopla. I have to see if my library subscribes to that. But I am all for the library comics. I haven't been to the library since 2019. You know, the second story in it was not great. Stuart Moore writing, artwork is just okay. In retrospect, I couldn't even tell you what it was about, and I read this one like I think either early this morning or last night. It was just not a great one. The third story was a lot better. The writer is Michael Coast, and this is Mark Teixeira art. You know, speaking of which, with the Ghost Rider from Reggie. Very, very interesting story, and this is really more tied to the whole idea of an ETER than the other two stories in here. It's basically like a spaceship ambulance kind of thing, and very, very hard-hitting story. And the ending hits kind of the perfect tone that they're trying to go for, at least in the story. Overall, I don't know that I would pick up another ETER. I think 2 issues is my fill for it. But it was something different, and I figured I'd give it a shot. Reminds of a big bug movie from the 70s, Food of the Gods. I haven't read that. I haven't seen that film. Starship Troopers was the first thing I thought of when I saw the cover, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm going to take your word for that one. So we'll go to my second unboxing. And this is an eBay purchase. I don't get from eBay that often, though I do have something on the way from them I just bought the other day. I have to say right off the bat, this is the best packed thing I think I've ever gotten from eBay. Very secure. There's not a lot moving around at all. And let's crank it open. Okay, so inside, whenever I open up anything from the mail lately, I like to do it on camera. Just helps, even if I'm just videotaping it for myself. So he protected it with just regular cardboard, which he cut it to the right size, so I don't mind. And there were 2 pieces on one side, another piece on the other, and then rather than using a Gemini mailer or something like that, he used the cardboard to make his own kind of Gemini, and he did it well, so that's pretty cool. I know it's probably about a year old at this point, but I had done an unboxing where I was getting my Amazing Spider-Man 110, my Gibbon Gang comic, and the eBay seller put it in between cardboard, but one of the pieces of cardboard was like severely lower than the comic. So of course it got banged up in the mail. The seller, I'll say this though, I reached out to him, showed him a picture because it was actually torn, had a pretty big tear in it right through, and he refunded some of my money, so I thought that was fair. That being said, I always look for a better copy of that. So, as you may have known, I have been collecting copies of Isolation, and I was a little, not upset, but I was like, when the Kickstarter didn't go through, because that was an opportunity not only to get some of the covers that I have, but some of the first 25s and some of the rarer covers that I don't have. And I wound up getting, as I take off the green tape from that, Johnny Rico, I wound up getting one of the covers from the Comic Tom box that I didn't get. So this is the Isolation #1 black and white cover. So this is cool. So I have all of the covers for now. I don't think he's doing any other covers for #1. But I'll add that to the collection. I'm like Thanos adding the Infinity Stones to the gauntlet here. Okay, we're about 45 minutes in. So to the two winners of the giveaways from the last 2 weeks, I have to contact you, number one, to get your information. And number two, your stuff's going to be going out at this point on Friday. The giveaway for this week, yeah, I do like how the black and white looks. This is another trade paperback from my collection that I've read and that I've enjoyed. So now I am passing it on to you. This is the trade paperback of 30 Days of Night. 30 Days of Night is from IDW. If you're unfamiliar with the story, basically there is in Alaska, there is, 1 month out of the year where just the way the sun and the moon work, they're plunged into darkness for 30 days, which never thought of this before, but it's perfect for vampires to attack, I guess, during that time. They did make a movie out of this. I've never, ever seen it. I'd have to check. I'll say this. I can't speak to the movie. I know that it didn't get very well reviewed. The book was very good. I actually read a couple of the follow-ups from this, and for a while, Stephen Niles and Ben Templesmith were one of my favorite kind of creative teams. I read a few of their books after that. I think I stopped after a couple issues of Love Me Tenderloin. But if you would like this book, again, from my collection, all you have to do is message me on Instagram and say, I want it. Now today it is Saturday, about 11:45 Eastern time. If you want this book, let me know. Why don't we say by Thursday, why don't we say 8 p.m. Eastern? So again, if you want this trade paperback, which is even better when you hold it the right way, message me on Instagram. And yeah, if there's multiples, we'll pick a name. Maybe I'll even do that live. We'll just pick a name out of a hat and do it. And all of my trade paperbacks, for the most part, are in like new shape. I probably could have just sold this if I wanted to, but you know what? I'm passing this one on to you guys. So again, if you're interested in the 30 Days of Night trade paperback, and this is the first of that series, go ahead and message me, and you might be the lucky winner. And again, all the winners from the past 2 weeks and this winner, this is going to ship out on Friday. You can ask people who have gotten things from me in the past. I like to send the shipping information just so you can track it and whatnot, and that there's no other issues or whatnot. Oh, C-List. C-List jumped on that. Who knows? Maybe. Like I said, if there's multiple entries, I always just do like a little kind of drawing. Those are the topics that I have planned for you. As far as videos for this week, I know I've been saying this, but I finally have to do my VR for Neil. I actually might make it a double VR. Might get my wife involved. We have to discuss that one. What else? See, I kind of plan my things last minute, as you could see. Fight me, please don't. I'm weak. Have a hair off. Well, we got 2 in there already. And Durs has won something from me recently, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. I know I sent something to you, but yeah, I don't put any kind of restriction on that. I'm trying to think other stuff that I have planned. I'm still trying to line up a couple interviews. I am trying to line up people for 7-minute stories. There are a couple people who have said interest in. Well, I don't have the next one scheduled, but I think after this week I'm going to reach out to some of those people. But if you are interested in 7-minute stories, of course, let me know. I promise I won't let it hurt, and I won't make it hurt, and it is the longest 7 minutes on the internet. Yes, I didn't win. You sent me your spare health. Yeah, no, it's cool either way. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually, as I go through my collection. Oh, I should give you an update on that, because I know Digger Jim asked me about this. The organization process has once again stalled. And if you're in the Reggie Collects Discord server with us, you know why. Basically, I messed up when I ordered my BCW supplies. I didn't realize that I'd ordered the wrong side boards. Apparently, I had ordered the modern/current boards with the modern bags. And the modern bags are a little bit bigger. It's about 1/8 of an inch bigger. And I contacted BCW. They're going to let me refund it, which is very good of them. But yeah, I have to ship it back, and it's a whole to do. So I have to order more boards in the right size, and yeah, get cracking again. But I kind of see the end of the light there. And as I go through my collection and I'm finding things that I bought in duplicate, I put them aside. So maybe I might throw a little extra in if you do win one of our giveaways. But with that being said, it is we've been here for almost an hour. It is a beautiful Saturday. I want to finish my breakfast that's been sitting there calling my name. I did that last week. My LCS got the wrong size. Yeah. Did your LCS let you return it? I mean, BCW, to be honest, I was happy with. I contacted, and they're like, "Yeah, just ship it back to us, and then we'll refund you, and you can order whenever you want." But yeah, end of my show. I know we come to a grand ending once again, but I want to thank you again for checking it out, and keep watching my channel. I might surprise you with some more things. By the way, let me know too. You can leave it in the comments if you like some of the videos I've been doing just while we're out and about and walking. It works especially now that it's weather is just starting to turn here. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.